Hey there, English learners! Welcome back to English Made Easy, the place where we make learning English as simple and fun as possible. I'm Eleanor, and with me today is my good friend and co-host, David.
Hey everyone, glad to be here.
Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most talked about figures of our time, Elon Musk. Whether you love him or, well, really love him, there's no denying his impact. And guess what? As we explore his incredible journey, we're also going to uncover some really useful English words and phrases that you can start using in your everyday conversations. We're talking about words that will help you describe ambitious people, big challenges, and even a little bit of controversy. These aren't just textbook words. They're the kind of words native speakers use naturally. By the end of this video, you'll not only have a better grasp of who Elon Musk is, but you'll also know exactly how to use these new words, their synonyms, and when to drop them into your own day-to-day chats. So, even if you're just whispering to yourself, try to say these words after me to practice. I'll speak with a natural rhythm, just like a native speaker. Let's jump in. So, David, when you think about Elon Musk's early life, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
You know, Eleanor, it's always his origin story that gets me. Growing up in South Africa, being a bit of an outsider, and then moving to Canada and eventually the US with huge dreams. It really paints a picture of someone who was destined for something big. From the very beginning, his trajectory seemed different, marked by an unusual combination of intense intellect and a relentless drive to achieve. It wasn't just about personal success. It felt like a larger calling, an innate understanding that he had a unique role to play.
Destined for. That's a great phrase right there. When we say someone is destined for something, it means they seem fated or meant to achieve it. It's like their path was already laid out, almost like destiny was calling. This isn't just about wishing for something. It's about an inherent capability or a trajectory that feels inevitable, as if the universe itself is conspiring to guide them towards a particular outcome. Think of it as a river flowing towards the ocean. It's destined for the sea, its course shaped by the land and gravity, making its eventual destination certain. This phrase often carries a sense of profound purpose, an understanding that a person's talents and efforts are uniquely aligned with a significant preordained future. We often use it when reflecting on someone's journey, looking back and seeing how all the pieces, even the seemingly random ones, fit together perfectly to lead them to where they are. It evokes a narrative arc, a story where the protagonist's ultimate triumph feels like a natural progression. What about the opposite? Someone who just drifts along with no clear path, no grand ambition, with no sense of being pulled in a specific direction. You might say they are undetermined or without direction. They lack that sense of internal compass guiding them towards a particular goal, that internal knowing of a greater purpose.
Yeah, he wasn't someone who just let life happen to him. He was always pushing, always thinking bigger, always looking beyond the immediate horizon. It makes you wonder what kind of environment fosters that kind of ambition, that feeling of being destined for something more than the everyday, more than what most people settle for. It's a powerful idea that some people seem to have this innate drive to achieve, almost as if it's programmed into them, a genetic predisposition for greatness or relentless innovation. It's a compelling contrast to those who simply follow societal expectations.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, he was a really voracious reader as a child. That's a phrase I think is super helpful for our learners. When we describe someone as a voracious reader, it means they read a lot, very quickly, and with great enthusiasm. It's not just about reading a few books here and there, picking up a novel now and then. It's about consuming knowledge with an almost unstoppable appetite, a hunger that is never truly satisfied. They seek out information, dive deep into subjects that capture their interest, and never seem to tire of learning, often staying up late into the night, lost in the pages of a book. Their world expands with every word, every concept absorbed.
My grandma was a voracious reader. She'd finish a thick novel in a day, sometimes two if it was particularly gripping. You'd find her buried in books from morning till night, always eager for the next story or piece of information, whether it was history, science fiction, or classic literature. It was like she couldn't get enough of the written word. Books were her constant companions, her gateways to other worlds and ideas.
Mine too. It's like they devour books, consuming every page with intense concentration and enjoyment. Voracious means having a very eager approach to an activity, an almost insatiable desire for it. So a voracious reader, is someone who just can't get enough of reading. Shis. The stress is on the second syllable, ray. This word isn't just for reading, though. You can have a voracious appetite for food, meaning you eat a lot with great enthusiasm, or a voracious desire for success, where you constantly strive for more achievements. It's like hungry or insatiable when it comes to books, or any other activity, highlighting the intensity of the desire. The opposite would be someone who is a reluctant reader or barely reads at all, someone who approaches learning with hesitation, indifference, or even aversion, seeing it as a chore rather than a pleasure. So, if you're a student trying to learn English, being a voracious learner would mean you're soaking up everything you can get your hands on. You're actively seeking out new words, practicing every chance you get, watching English movies, listening to podcasts, and genuinely enjoying the process of absorbing new information.
He was definitely a voracious learner of all sorts of subjects, not just what was taught in school, but also coding, physics, philosophy, and engineering principles. That's what set him apart, I think. He wasn't just absorbing information. He was trying to understand how the world worked at a fundamental level, questioning assumptions and building mental models from first principles. He had this deep-seated need to grasp the underlying principles of everything he encountered, which is a hallmark of truly innovative minds, allowing him to connect seemingly disparate fields.
That's a crucial point. He wasn't just accepting things at face value, content with superficial explanations. He had this incredible, insatiable curiosity. Insatiable is another fantastic word. It means impossible to satisfy, implying a hunger that can never be fully quenched, a limitless desire for more. So, insatiable curiosity means he had a hunger for knowledge that could never be fully satisfied. He always wanted to learn more, to dig deeper, to ask why, until he reached the absolute core of an issue, pushing past conventional answers to uncover the fundamental truths. It's a relentless pursuit of understanding, a thirst for knowledge that can never be fully quenched, always seeking the next piece of the puzzle.
Like a bottomless pit of questions. My nephew has an insatiable curiosity about dinosaurs. He constantly asks me new facts, wanting to know every detail, every species, every theory, from their diet to their extinction. You can just see his mind working overtime, trying to absorb everything, connecting facts, and forming a comprehensive understanding of prehistoric life. He's never satisfied with a simple answer.
Exactly. Or an insatiable appetite if you just can't stop eating, constantly seeking more food to fill a seemingly endless hunger. Insatiable is pronounced in-say-sha-bull. Insatiable. Stress on the second syllable. This word really emphasizes the intensity and boundless nature of the desire. It's not just a strong curiosity, it's one that feels limitless, constantly expanding its scope. Synonyms could be unquenchable, unending, or voracious. The opposite would be something easily satisfied, like a limited or fulfilled desire, where a small amount is enough. It really highlights how deeply driven he was from a young age, this constant push for more knowledge and understanding, a refusal to be content with partial explanations. This curiosity, combined with his voracious reading habits, must have been a powerful force in shaping his future, leading him to question existing norms and imagine new, revolutionary possibilities for humanity.
It sure sounds like it. And from those early days, fueled by his reading and curiosity, he quickly moved into entrepreneurship, bypassing the traditional career path. Remember when he and his brother started Zip2? That was his first real foray into the tech world, a bold and ambitious venture for someone so young. It was a leap into a completely new and rapidly evolving industry, and it showed his willingness to take significant risks right from the start, a precursor to many more to come.
Foray into. Excellent phrase. A foray into something means an initial venture or a first attempt into a new activity or sphere. It's often about exploring a new territory, whether it's a physical place like a dense jungle, a new line of work like starting a tech company, or even a new artistic style like abstract painting. It implies a sense of exploration and testing the waters, but with a clear intent to engage and make an impact, not just observe from a distance. It's a deliberate step into the unknown.
Like a band's first album might be their foray into the music industry. They're introducing themselves, showcasing their unique sound, and hoping to make an impact on a wider audience. It's their initial step onto a bigger stage, a declaration of their artistic identity.
Perfect example. Or when you try a new hobby, like painting for the very first time, that's your first foray into art. The pronunciation is foray into. Foray into. The stress is on the first syllable of foray. This phrase is really useful for talking about any beginning, especially when it involves stepping into something new or somewhat unfamiliar, a new experience or challenge. It's similar to venture into or initial step, suggesting a purposeful initiation. The opposite would be retreating from something or avoiding it, showing a reluctance to engage with new experiences, preferring the safety of the known. This phrase is great because it talks about new beginnings, which is a common theme in life. We all make forays into new relationships, new jobs, new cities, always learning and adapting.
And he didn't just make a small foray, he dove right in, selling his first company for a significant amount, which then gave him the capital for his next big thing, X.com, which later became PayPal. That's a serious first step, not just dipping a toe in the water, but a full, committed plunge into the entrepreneurial deep end. It showed that when he makes a foray, he does so with complete dedication and a clear intent to succeed on a grand scale.
Absolutely. And that leads us to a really important concept when we talk about people like Elon Musk, being a visionary. He clearly had a visionary outlook, even from those early days, even before he had major successes. He wasn't just thinking about the present, about making a quick profit. He was always projecting into the future, imagining possibilities for entire industries and humanity itself, possibilities that most people couldn't even conceive of.
He wasn't just building websites. He was thinking about how to revolutionize payments, how to make financial transactions instant and global. That's definitely visionary. He saw the potential for a completely new financial landscape long before anyone else did, and he worked to make that vision a reality, not just for his own benefit, but to fundamentally change how the world operates.
When we call someone a visionary, it means they have original ideas about how the future will or could be. They can see things that others can't yet imagine, often with great imagination and intelligence. They aren't just dreamers, they are thinkers who can connect disparate ideas, anticipate future needs, and forge a path forward, often against skepticism. Their ideas are often groundbreaking and challenge existing paradigms, forcing everyone else to catch up. They paint a picture of a future that inspires and compels.
Like Steve Jobs, who envisioned the world where everyone carried a powerful computer in their pocket. Or even Leonardo da Vinci, whose sketches and ideas were centuries ahead of his time. People who were truly ahead of their time, whose ideas were considered radical or impossible in their own eras, but who laid the groundwork for future advancements that we now take for granted.
Exactly. A visionary, is someone with a strong, imaginative plan for the future. Visionary. Stress on the first syllable. This isn't just about having good ideas, it's about having a comprehensive and forward-looking perspective that guides their actions, providing a blueprint for long-term change. Synonyms include innovative, forward-thinking, or prophetic, suggesting an ability to foresee and shape the future. The opposite would be someone who is short-sighted or unimaginative, someone who struggles to look beyond the immediate present, lacking the capacity for grand designs. It's a powerful word to describe someone who isn't content with the status quo, who constantly seeks to reshape the future rather than simply react to it, driven by an inner conviction.
He definitely doesn't seem content with the status quo. He's always pushing boundaries, always asking, what if? Even back then, he was thinking big, not just about small improvements, but about fundamental shifts in how we live and interact with technology, finance, and eventually the planet itself. That visionary quality was present from the very beginning, a core component of his intellectual and entrepreneurial DNA.
It's inspiring to see that kind of drive from such an early age. It just goes to show that foundational experiences and personal traits, like being a voracious learner with insatiable curiosity, can truly set the stage for extraordinary achievements. These aren't just details about a famous person, they're examples of qualities that anyone can cultivate, universal traits that can lead to personal and professional success. Think about what you're curious about right now. Are you being a voracious learner of English, always seeking out new resources and opportunities to practice? Are you making a foray into new methods of study, daring to try something different? These are the building blocks of personal growth and sometimes of world changing innovation. It's about more than just intelligence, it's about a particular way of engaging with the world. So, David, we've talked about his early life and how he started, but then came the really big leaps. SpaceX, Tesla. These weren't just new companies. They were attempts to tackle monumental challenges, aiming to redefine entire industries and even humanity's future. What, in your opinion, was his biggest breakthrough, the moment that truly changed the game?
For me, it has to be SpaceX. The idea of reusable rockets seemed like science fiction for so long, a dream relegated to comic books and movies. And he just went for it, pouring his resources and intellect into making it a reality. That was a true breakthrough. Not just an improvement on existing technology, but a complete game changer in space travel, fundamentally altering the economic model of space launches and opening up new possibilities for exploration. It wasn't just about building rockets, it was about reimagining the entire industry.
Breakthrough. Such a common and useful word. A breakthrough, means a significant and sudden advance, development, or discovery. It's a moment when a major obstacle is overcome, leading to progress that was previously thought impossible or highly improbable, something that shifts the paradigm. It's a turning point, a moment of profound realization or achievement that opens new doors and creates new pathways forward. It's an aha moment on a grand scale.
Like a new medicine that cures a disease that was once considered incurable. That would be a medical breakthrough. It transforms the lives of countless people, offering hope where there was none, and changes the entire field of medicine, pushing the boundaries of what doctors and researchers thought possible. It's a moment when science leaps forward.
Perfect. Or a moment in your English learning when suddenly everything clicks and you understand complex sentences that used to baffle you. That's a personal breakthrough. Break through. Stress on the first syllable. This word implies a sudden leap forward, often after a period of struggle or incremental progress, a moment when a new level of understanding or capability is unlocked. Synonyms could be discovery, innovation, or milestone, each marking a significant step forward. The opposite might be a setback or a stagnation, periods where progress is halted or even reversed, where you feel stuck or unable to move forward. It signifies a huge step forward, fundamentally altering the landscape of a particular field or your personal journey.
And it wasn't just one breakthrough. It was a series of them, consistently pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible in space travel. Every successful landing of a Falcon 9 booster, every refinement in their reusability was a mini breakthrough, paving the way for the larger vision of making life multiplanetary. But getting there wasn't easy, wasn't smooth sailing. He faced massive adversity.
Adversity is a heavy but important word. Adversity, adversity refers to difficulties, misfortune, or challenging circumstances. It's what tests your strength and resilience, forcing you to confront significant obstacles that could easily lead to failure or despair, moments that truly define character.
It's not just a small inconvenience or a minor hitch. It's a profound struggle, a series of hardships that threaten to derail everything. You might say someone faces adversity when they lose their job and struggle to find a new one, trying to rebuild their life, or when they overcome a serious illness, battling for their health. Adversity. Adversity. Stress on the second syllable. This word truly captures the essence of hardship, describing periods of intense difficulty. Synonyms include hardship, trouble, or misfortune, each conveying a sense of difficulty and distress. The opposite would be prosperity or good fortune, periods of ease, success, and smooth sailing. It really describes those moments when life throws its toughest challenges at you, when the odds seem overwhelmingly stacked against you, and every step is a struggle.
And instead of giving up, instead of succumbing to the pressure and the failures, he kept pushing, he kept investing, he kept believing. That's what makes his story so compelling. He didn't just have a breakthrough, he endured incredible adversity to get there, using each failure as a learning opportunity. It's like he has almost a superhuman ability to persevere, to keep going when anyone else would have thrown in the towel. His mental fortitude is truly exceptional.
Persevere, another fantastic verb for describing resilience. To persevere, means to continue in a course of action even in the face of difficulty or with little or no prospect of success. It's about not giving up, about maintaining your effort and commitment despite obstacles and setbacks, even when the finish line seems impossibly far away or obscured by doubt. It speaks to an unwavering determination, a refusal to be defeated by circumstances.
So, when you're studying English and it feels really tough, when you encounter grammar rules that confuse you or vocabulary that seems endless, but you keep practicing every day, you are persevering. You're showing that commitment to your goal even when the grammar feels impossible or new vocabulary seems overwhelming, pushing through the frustration.
Exactly. Or an athlete who keeps training hard despite injuries, pushing through pain and doubt day after day to achieve their ultimate objective is persevering. Persevere. The stress is on the last syllable. This verb highlights the continuous nature of effort in the face of challenges, the sustained commitment over time. Synonyms include persist, endure, or keep going, each emphasizing the ongoing effort. The opposite would be to give up or quit, to abandon one's efforts when things get tough, to simply stop trying. This word really gets to the heart of what it means to overcome challenges, to maintain faith in your long-term vision, even when the immediate situation looks bleak and success seems distant.
He faced so many naysayers, so many critics, people telling him it was impossible, that he was delusional, that he was wasting his money. But he just kept going, kept building, kept innovating. It takes a certain kind of person to have that kind of tenacity, that unwavering resolve in the face of widespread skepticism. People who are quick to dismiss new ideas or who are comfortable with the status quo would have seen his early failures as definitive proof of his folly. But he just doubled down, believing in his vision even when no one else did.
Tenacity is a perfect word to describe that quality. Tenacity means the quality of being determined to do something and never giving up. It's a persistent grip on a goal, an unwavering firmness of purpose, a stubborn refusal to let go, no matter how difficult the circumstances become. It's not just about trying hard, it's about a stubborn refusal to release your grip on your objectives, a profound inner strength.
Like a bulldog holding onto a toy, it just won't let go. That image really captures the essence of it, a refusal to release its grip no matter how much you pull, no matter what obstacles are put in its way. It's a powerful visual for stubborn determination.
That's a great image. Or a student who keeps trying to understand a difficult grammar point, perhaps repeating exercises, asking questions, and seeking out different explanations until they master it, is showing tenacity. Tenacity. Stress on the second syllable. This noun emphasizes the strength and resolve behind the persistence, the mental toughness. Synonyms include persistence, resolve, or determination, each highlighting the strength of will. The opposite would be fickleness or weakness, a tendency to change one's mind or give up easily, lacking that inner fortitude. It's about having that unwavering grip on your objectives, that inner strength that keeps you focused on the prize even when the going gets tough.
He just seemed to weather the storm time and time again. Every financial crisis, every launch failure, every production problem at Tesla, every public relations nightmare. He just found the way through it, emerging on the other side, perhaps battered, but unbroken. He showed an incredible ability to navigate through incredibly turbulent periods.
Oh, weather the storm. That's an excellent idiom, David. To weather the storm means to successfully deal with a very difficult period or situation. It's like a ship surviving a literal storm at sea, battling against the harsh winds and waves, its crew working tirelessly to keep it afloat. But in a figurative sense, it applies to any challenging circumstance, personal or professional. It implies not just survival, but navigating through the difficulty with skill, resilience, and often considerable effort. It's about enduring adversity and coming out on the other side.
So, if a company is going through tough financial times, perhaps facing bankruptcy, but manages to reorganize, cut costs, and eventually return to profitability, they weather the storm. They made it through the difficult period and are stronger for it, having learned valuable lessons.
Exactly. Or if you have a really stressful week at work or school, facing multiple deadlines, difficult exams, and personal challenges, and you get through it, completing everything successfully, you weathered the storm. Weather the storm. The pronunciation is quite literal. This idiom is wonderful because it evokes a clear visual image of overcoming something powerful, something that could easily overwhelm you through sheer determination.
He really put everything on the line, didn't he? There were moments when both Tesla and SpaceX were on the brink of collapse, particularly during the 2008 financial crisis when he faced dire financial straits. He essentially poured his entire personal fortune, every last penny, into keeping them afloat, making massive personal sacrifices and betting everything on his vision.
That's where we see his incredible risk-taking nature, his willingness to gamble everything on his beliefs. He's not afraid to make bold moves. Bold is a great adjective here. A bold move is a brave, confident, and sometimes risky action. It's not cautious, hesitant, or timid. It's daring, involving a willingness to step outside comfort zones and challenge conventions, consequences be damned. It implies courage and a remarkable lack of fear of failure, or at least a willingness to confront that fear.
Like asking someone out on a date you've admired for ages, someone you think is completely out of your league, that could feel like a bold move. It requires immense courage to put yourself out there and face potential rejection, but the reward could be incredible.
It certainly can. Or an artist who experiments with a completely new style, one that might not be immediately popular or understood by the critics, is making a bold move. They're pushing boundaries and redefining norms. Bold move. Say it with me. Bold move. Synonyms for bold include daring, audacious, or courageous, each emphasizing the bravery and confidence involved. The opposite would be cautious or timid, actions characterized by hesitation, a desire to avoid risk, and a preference for the safe option. It's about having the courage to take chances, to push boundaries, and to pursue your vision even when the path is uncertain and the stakes are incredibly high.
And he's definitely not someone to shy away from bold moves.
He really is willing to bet big on his ideas, even when everyone else thinks he's crazy. Even when the financial stakes are incredibly high and the odds seem stacked against him. That's what sets him apart from many other entrepreneurs who might play it safer. He's a true high-stakes gambler, but with profound intellectual backing.
That's what makes his story so compelling. He faces immense challenges, monumental obstacles that would crush most people. But his tenacity and willingness to make bold moves, coupled with the ability to weather the storm, ultimately lead to those incredible breakthroughs. It's a powerful lesson in resilience for all of us, a testament to the human spirit. When you feel overwhelmed learning English, when new concepts seem too difficult, remember these words. Keep persevering, keep pushing forward, and you will have your own breakthroughs. Don't be afraid to make a bold move in your English journey, whether it's speaking up in class, trying a new challenging learning technique, or engaging in a conversation with a native speaker.
David, when we look at someone who has achieved so much, who has transformed industries and pushed the boundaries of what's possible, it's natural to wonder about their mindset and daily habits. What do you think defines Elon Musk's personal style or approach to problem solving and innovation? I think one of the most striking things is his unconventional approach. He rarely follows the traditional path, the well-trodden routes that most companies or individuals take. He seems to deliberately seek out alternative solutions, challenging established wisdom at every turn, questioning the very foundations of how things are done. This willingness to deviate from the norm is truly distinctive.
Unconventional. That's a perfect description for him. Unconventional means not based on or conforming to what is generally done or believed. It's about thinking outside the box, refusing to adhere to norms, and often finding entirely new ways to solve problems that others might dismiss as too radical or impossible. It celebrates originality and a departure from the expected, a fresh perspective that redefines the parameters of an issue.
Like wearing mismatched socks to a formal event or serving breakfast for dinner. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's certainly not what people expect, and it might even raise a few eyebrows. It's a small, harmless example of being unconventional.
Exactly. Or a student who develops a completely new way to study that works brilliantly for them, even if it's different from what everyone else does in class, is using an unconventional method. Unconventional. Stress on the third syllable. This adjective emphasizes the departure from the ordinary, the embrace of novelty. Synonyms include original, unorthodox, or nonconformist, each highlighting a unique and independent way of thinking or behaving. The opposite would be conventional or traditional, approaches that stick to established patterns and norms, avoiding anything out of the ordinary. It highlights his unique way of looking at problems, his refusal to be constrained by existing frameworks or conventional wisdom.
He doesn't just accept the way things are done. He always seems to ask, why not do it this way, a completely different way? It's part of his drive to disrupt industries. He's not content with incremental improvements. He wants to shake things up completely, to fundamentally change the game. He wants to tear down old structures and build new ones from the ground up.
To disrupt is a verb that's very common in the tech world, and it has a very specific meaning. To disrupt an industry or a market means to radically change an existing industry or market by introducing a new product or service. It creates a new market and value network that eventually displaces established market leaders, rendering old ways and technologies obsolete. It's more than just competition. It's a revolutionary force.
Think about how smartphones disrupted the traditional camera and music player industries. Before smartphones, everyone carried separate devices. But then one device did it all, and suddenly those standalone products became largely unnecessary. They changed everything, making separate devices for those functions largely unnecessary.
Perfect example, or how online learning is disrupting traditional education, offering new ways to access knowledge and learn skills that are flexible and accessible to millions, challenging the long-held model of physical classrooms. Disrupt. Stress on the second syllable. This verb implies a forceful and transformative change, a breaking apart of the old order. Synonyms include revolutionize, transform, or overthrow, each conveying a sense of profound and often rapid change. The opposite would be to maintain or preserve the status quo, to resist change and keep things as they are. It's a powerful word for describing significant change, not just a minor adjustment, but a complete overhaul of how things operate.
He's not just improving things, he's trying to reinvent them entirely to create entirely new paradigms. And he's known for his intense work ethic. I mean, stories about him sleeping at the factory, working 100-hour weeks. He's incredibly driven. His commitment is almost legendary, pushing himself and his teams to their absolute limits, often sacrificing personal comfort for professional goals.
Driven, such a simple yet powerful adjective. When someone is driven, it means they are highly motivated to achieve something. They have an internal force pushing them forward, an unstoppable energy that compels them towards their goals, often against significant odds. It's an inner fire that fuels their relentless effort, making them pursue their objectives with uncommon zeal.
Like an athlete who spends hours every day training for the Olympics, enduring pain and exhaustion. They are incredibly driven, making sacrifices and pushing through pain because of that ultimate goal, the desire for gold.
Exactly. Or a student who works tirelessly day and night to master a new language, practicing vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation until they achieve fluency, is driven by their goal. Driven. Synonyms include ambitious, determined, or motivated, each emphasizing that powerful internal push towards an objective. The opposite would be unmotivated or apathetic, someone who lacks that internal spark, that sense of purpose. It captures that intense internal desire to succeed, that unwavering focus on their objective, which allows them to overcome countless obstacles.
He seems almost obsessed with solving big problems, problems that affect humanity on a grand scale, like climate change or making humanity multiplanetary. It's not just about making money for him, although he certainly has. It's about a grander purpose, a fundamental belief in improving the future. He has a very clear vision. These aren't small-scale projects. They are enormous, audacious goals that require an incredible amount of conviction and sustained effort.
We talked about visionary earlier, and this links directly to it. He has a powerful vision. A vision, in this context, is a clear, distinct, and sometimes even idealistic mental image of what the future could be. It's the goal or objective he's working towards, a detailed mental picture of a desired future state that guides all his actions and decisions. It's more than just a dream, it's a blueprint for the future.
So a political leader might have a vision for their country's future, outlining their hopes and plans for its development, for its economic prosperity and social well-being.
Yes, precisely. Or an artist might have a vision for their next masterpiece, a clear image in their mind of what they want to create, the emotions they want to evoke, and the message they want to convey. Vision. Synonyms include goal, aim, or objective, each pointing to a desired outcome. The opposite might be short-sightedness or aimlessness, a lack of clear direction or focus only on the immediate present. It's that guiding star that directs all his efforts, providing purpose and direction to his relentless drive, ensuring that every small step contributes to a larger overarching plan.
And he articulates that vision constantly, communicating it with passion and conviction to his employees, investors, and the public. He's very vocal about his goals, which is part of his communication style. He doesn't try to soften his message or use diplomatic language. He just says what he thinks, directly and without equivocation, which can be both refreshing and at times jarring.
Blunt, an interesting word to describe his communication. To be blunt means to be direct and straightforward in speech, often without being polite or subtle. It can sometimes come across as a bit rude or insensitive, lacking the niceties of polite conversation, but it's usually meant to be clear and unambiguous, prioritizing truth over tact.
So if your friend asks if you like their new haircut and you say, "No, not really, it doesn't quite suit you," that's being pretty blunt. It might hurt their feelings for a moment, but it's an honest answer, even if delivered without much finesse.
That's a very blunt answer indeed. Or a boss who tells an employee exactly what they did wrong, clearly outlining their mistakes without sugarcoating it, is being blunt. Blunt. Synonyms include direct, frank, or candid, each suggesting honesty and straightforwardness. The opposite would be subtle, diplomatic, or indirect, communication styles that prioritize politeness, nuance, and avoiding offense. It describes someone who doesn't beat around the bush, who prefers to speak plainly and directly, often valuing efficiency and clarity above all else.
He certainly doesn't. He gets straight to the point, sometimes to a fault, but you always know where you stand with him. There's no ambiguity, no hidden meanings. He makes his intentions and expectations very clear, which can be a valuable trait in a leader. It's part of his no nonsense approach.
No nonsense is a great informal phrase for this. Someone with a no nonsense approach is practical, serious, and direct, focused on what is important and effective without unnecessary fuss or delay. They cut through the trivialities and bureaucracy to get straight to the core of the matter, preferring action over talk.
Like a teacher who gets right to the lesson without wasting time on distractions or unnecessary pleasantries. They have a no nonsense attitude, prioritizing learning above all else, ensuring every minute is productive.
Perfect. Or a business that focuses purely on results without getting bogged down in bureaucracy or excessive meetings has a no nonsense approach. No non-sense. It's pretty straightforward to pronounce. Synonyms include practical, efficient, or serious, each emphasizing a focus on effectiveness and results. The opposite would be frivolous or ineffectual, approaches that lack seriousness or effectiveness or are prone to unnecessary complexities. It's about being pragmatic and efficient, always prioritizing the most direct and effective path to a goal, cutting out anything that doesn't contribute to progress.
He applies that no nonsense approach to everything, from designing cars and rockets to managing his companies and communicating his vision. It's all about stripping away the unnecessary and getting to the core of the problem, whether it's engineering challenges or business strategy, demanding efficiency and clear thinking.
It's fascinating how his unconventional, disruptive, and driven mindset, combined with his clear vision and blunt, no nonsense communication, all contribute to his unique style. It's a style that has certainly left its mark, for better or worse, generating both admiration and criticism. It's a powerful combination of traits that, when channeled effectively, can lead to incredible achievements, but also to misunderstandings. Are there areas in your life where being a bit more unconventional or no nonsense might help you achieve your goals? Perhaps in your English learning journey. Maybe you could try an unconventional study method that suits your learning style perfectly, or take a no nonsense approach to practicing every day, eliminating distractions and focusing purely on progress. It's about finding what works for you, even if it's different.
So, David, it's impossible to talk about Elon Musk without addressing the controversies and criticisms that often follow him. He's a figure who certainly polarizes opinion. It seems like there's no middle ground when it comes to how people feel about him. They either love him or they really don't. He really does. You either admire him greatly, seeing him as a genius, a visionary, and perhaps even a savior of humanity, or you find his actions frustrating, reckless, and sometimes even destructive. There's rarely a middle ground. People tend to hold very strong, often emotional opinions one way or the other. That's what it means to polarize opinion, to drive people to opposite ends of a spectrum.
Exactly. To polarize opinion means to cause people or opinions to become sharply divided into two opposing groups. It creates extreme disagreement, pushing people to one side of the issue or the other rather than fostering consensus or moderate views. It's a powerful phrase for describing divisive figures or topics where neutrality is almost impossible. the very mention of his name can spark heated debate.
Like a highly debated political issue, such as healthcare reform or climate policy, will often polarize public opinion. People will dig into their positions, become entrenched, and find it difficult to find common ground or compromise.
Perfect. Or a very avant-garde piece of art, something truly experimental and challenging, might polarize opinion among critics, with some hailing it as brilliant and revolutionary, and others dismissing it as meaningless or even offensive. Polarize opinion. The stress is on the first syllable of polarize and the second of opinion. This phrase vividly describes the splitting of views, the creation of strong factions. Synonyms could be divide opinion, create division, or cause strong disagreement, each conveying a sense of schism. The opposite would be to unite opinion or find common ground, fostering agreement and harmony. It really highlights how divisive he can be, how his actions and statements tend to draw strong reactions from people rather than moderate ones.
And some of his statements and decisions have certainly fueled that polarization. He's been criticized for what some call his impulsive behavior, particularly on social media, where a single tweet can send shockwaves through markets, alienate investors, or spark outrage. He acts without apparent filter.
Impulsive is a key word here. When someone is impulsive, it means they act suddenly, without careful thought, often driven by emotion or a sudden urge. There's a lack of deliberation or consideration of potential consequences, leading to quick, spontaneous actions that can sometimes be regretted later. It's an action taken in the spur of the moment.
Like buying something expensive, a fancy new gadget or a luxury car, without checking your bank account first, that's an impulsive decision. You act on the desire without thinking through the financial implications, only realizing the mistake later.
Very much so. Or if you suddenly decide to take a trip without any planning, just packing a bag and going to the airport to see where the next flight takes you, that's an impulsive trip. Impulsive. Stress on the second syllable. This adjective perfectly describes actions driven by immediate feeling rather than reasoned thought, by instinct rather than careful calculation. Synonyms include rash, hasty, or spontaneous, each suggesting a lack of foresight. The opposite would be cautious, deliberate, or thoughtful, actions taken after careful consideration and planning. It suggests a lack of foresight or planning, which can be both a source of innovative spontaneity and a cause of trouble or regret.
And sometimes those impulsive actions have had significant consequences, especially on social media. His tweets often stir up controversy, leading to huge public debates, intense media scrutiny, and sometimes even legal challenges or financial penalties. He seems to have a knack for it.
Stir up controversy. That's a fantastic idiom for our learners. To stir up controversy means to cause a lot of public discussion, disagreement, or argument, often intentionally or through carelessness. It's like stirring a pot and making everything mix up and boil over, creating a chaotic and often heated situation where opinions clash vehemently.
So, if a celebrity makes a really shocking statement about a sensitive topic, they are likely to stir up controversy, generating headlines and endless discussions across social media and news outlets.
Exactly. Or a new government policy that many people disagree with, especially if it affects their daily lives, can stir up controversy, leading to protests, petitions, and heated debates in Parliament. Stir up controversy. The stress is on stir and the first syllable of controversy. This idiom gives a vivid image of generating public uproar, of disrupting peace with conflict. Synonyms could be provoke debate, cause an uproar, or generate disagreement, each conveying a sense of discord. The opposite would be to promote harmony or avoid conflict, trying to keep things calm and peaceful, minimizing friction. It captures the idea of actively creating a discussion, often a heated one, through provocative actions or statements, even if unintended.
He seems almost indifferent to it sometimes, which can be frustrating for critics and even some supporters. He's often accused of being tone deaf. It's as if he doesn't fully grasp how his words or actions will be perceived by the broader public, or he simply doesn't care, prioritizing his own view above all else. This can lead to alienating potential allies.
Tone deaf. That's another really insightful adjective. When someone is tone deaf, in this figurative sense, it means they are unaware of or insensitive to the general mood, feelings, or opinions of a particular group of people. They say or do things that are inappropriate or offensive because they don't understand the emotional or social context, often causing unintentional offense or exacerbating a problem. They miss the subtle cues.
Like a politician who talks about tax cuts for the wealthy during a severe economic crisis for ordinary people who are struggling to make ends meet, that would be a tone-deaf comment, showing a complete lack of understanding or empathy for the public's struggles.
Perfect example. Or someone making insensitive jokes at a funeral, completely failing to grasp the solemnity and grief of the situation, would be incredibly tone deaf. Tone deaf. This adjective highlights a crucial lack of emotional or social awareness, a disconnect from popular sentiment. Synonyms include insensitive, unresponsive, or unperceptive, each pointing to a failure to understand subtle cues. The opposite would be sensitive, empathetic, or perceptive, qualities that involve understanding and responding appropriately to others' feelings in the wider context. It describes a lack of understanding of the emotional or social climate, leading to actions that are out of sync with the prevailing sentiment.
He's also been criticized for promises that don't always come to fruition. Some of his timelines for projects like fully autonomous driving or Mars colonization have been overly optimistic, leading to significant delays and missed deadlines. This has created a sense of skepticism among some observers who feel he overpromises and underdelivers.
Come to fruition. That's a beautiful phrase. When something comes to fruition, it means it is realized or completed, reaching a desired result. It's like a plan finally bearing fruit, blooming into a tangible outcome after a period of development, effort, and careful cultivation. It signifies the successful conclusion of a long-term goal.
So, if a student works really hard on a complex research project for months, doing extensive reading and analysis, and then receives a top grade, their efforts came to fruition. All their hard work paid off in a successful, well-deserved result.
Absolutely. Or a long-term dream that finally happens after years of planning and effort, like building your dream house or starting your own business, has come to fruition. Come to fruition. Stress on the second syllable of fruition. This phrase signifies the successful culmination of a process, the moment a vision becomes reality. Synonyms include be realized, be accomplished, or materialize, each suggesting a successful outcome. The opposite would be to fail, fall short, or remain unrealized, where efforts do not lead to the desired outcome, leaving a sense of disappointment. It describes the successful conclusion of something, often something that required significant effort, time, and perseverance.
And while he has many successes, those unfulfilled promises or delays can definitely attract criticism, especially from those who invested heavily, both financially and emotionally. It's a part of his public image that he seems to constantly wrestle with, as people hold him to his ambitious statements and timelines, often with a harsh hand.
He certainly does. He faces a lot of scrutiny. Scrutiny is a good word here. Scrutiny means critical observation or examination. When someone is under scrutiny, they are being very closely and carefully watched and analyzed, with every action, every statement, and every decision being dissected and judged by the public, media, and regulators.
Like a new product that is undergoing rigorous testing, subjected to extreme conditions and detailed analysis, is under scrutiny. Every aspect is being examined for flaws, potential issues, or areas for improvement before it can be released to the market.
Exactly. Or a politician's actions, particularly during an election campaign or a major crisis, are often under intense scrutiny from the media, opposition parties, and the public, with every decision questioned and every statement analyzed for its implications.
Scrutiny. Stress on the first syllable. This noun implies a thorough and often critical assessment, a careful and suspicious examination. Synonyms include close examination, inspection, or surveillance, each conveying a sense of detailed observation. The opposite would be neglect or inattention, a lack of careful observation, allowing things to pass unnoticed. It implies a very thorough and often critical look at something, especially when there are doubts or concerns about its integrity or effectiveness.
And he definitely lives under a microscope. Every tweet, every business decision, every personal comment is subjected to intense scrutiny from all corners of the world. It must be a lot of pressure, knowing that everything you say or do will be analyzed, judged, and potentially amplified by millions, often leading to misinterpretations or backlash.
It's immense pressure indeed. These controversies and criticisms, whether they stem from impulsive actions, tone-deaf remarks, or unfulfilled promises, are an undeniable part of his public persona. They highlight the complexities of being such a public and influential figure, where every move is magnified and dissected. It reminds us that even highly driven individuals are not immune to making missteps, and their actions will always be subject to scrutiny and polarized opinion, leading to a complex and often contradictory public image. It's a valuable lesson in understanding the full picture of any public figure. No one is entirely without flaws or critics, and judgment is often multifaceted. We've talked about his early life, his breakthroughs and challenges, and even the controversies. Now, David, let's wrap up by discussing his legacy and impact, and how he's reshaping the future. How do you think history will ultimately view Elon Musk once all the dust has settled?
I think ultimately his legacy will be defined by his ambition to push humanity forward, to tackle problems of global significance. Despite the ups and downs, the controversies, and the triumphs, he's undeniably moved the needle on space exploration and sustainable energy, shifting entire industries. He's forced the world to think differently about these critical areas, not just by talking about them, but by building tangible solutions.
Legacy will be defined by. That's a really sophisticated and useful phrase for our learners. When we say someone's legacy will be defined by something, it means that particular thing will be the main characteristic or aspect for which they are remembered in the future. It's what will stand out most prominently when people reflect on their life and contributions, the core of their historical memory. It points to the lasting impression they leave behind.
So, a great writer's legacy might be defined by their most famous novel, the one that captures the essence of their literary contribution and continues to resonate with readers generations later.
Exactly. Or a scientist's legacy could be defined by a groundbreaking discovery that fundamentally changed our understanding of the universe or human biology. Legacy will be defined by. The stress is on the first syllable of legacy and the second of defined. This phrase emphasizes the enduring impact and the primary way someone will be remembered, highlighting the essence of their contribution. Synonyms include characterized by or remembered for, suggesting the indelible mark left on history. The opposite would be irrelevant to or unrelated to, suggesting that something played no significant part in their lasting memory. It emphasizes what will be the lasting impression, the core contribution that shapes their place in history for generations to come.
And his efforts to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy are undeniable. Tesla has not only produced popular electric vehicles, but has also forced the entire automotive industry to take electric vehicles seriously, investing billions in EV technology and pushing internal combustion engines towards obsolescence. He didn't just advocate for it, he built the tools to make it happen, making it a commercial reality.
Accelerate the transition is a fantastic phrase, especially when talking about big societal changes that require rapid movement. To accelerate the transition means to speed up the process of moving from one state or system to another. It implies a deliberate and rapid shift, not just a gradual evolution, but a concentrated effort to expedite change.
Like if a government introduces aggressive policies, tax incentives, and infrastructure investments to quickly move from fossil fuels to renewable energy, they are trying to accelerate the transition. They're not just letting it happen, they're actively pushing for it to occur faster, with a sense of urgency.
If you intensively study English every day, immersing yourself in the language through various media and practice to improve quickly, you are trying to accelerate your transition to fluency. Accelerate the transition. Stress on the second syllable of accelerate and the second of transition. This phrase is dynamic and speaks to rapid progress, to a concentrated effort to achieve a goal swiftly. Synonyms include speed up the shift, hasten the change, or expedite the move, each conveying a sense of urgency and rapid advancement. The opposite would be to slow down or hinder the transition, to impede progress or allow it to happen at a natural, unhurried pace. It's all about making change happen faster, often against resistance, by sheer force of will and innovation.
He's not just participating in these shifts, he's trying to force them to make them happen on a much faster timeline than they would otherwise, often by creating market demand and challenging incumbents. And that has had a huge ripple effect. His influence extends far beyond his own companies, inspiring other entrepreneurs and engineers.
Ripple effect, a really vivid idiom. A ripple effect means a situation in which one event or action causes a series of other events or changes to happen. It's like dropping a stone in water and watching the ripples spread out in ever-widening circles, touching distant shores even from a single point of impact, demonstrating far-reaching consequences.
So, a new law passed in one country might have a ripple effect on the economies of neighboring countries, impacting trade, investment, or even political stability.
Excellent example. Or one student's dedication and outstanding performance in a class might have a ripple effect, inspiring others to study harder, leading to an overall improvement in academic standards within the group. Ripple effect. The stress is on the first syllable of ripple and the second of effect. This idiom clearly illustrates cascading consequences, showing how one action can have widespread implications. Synonyms include chain reaction, knock-on effect, or domino effect, each suggesting a series of events interconnected. The opposite would be isolated impact or contained effect, where the consequences are limited to the immediate event without broader repercussions. It illustrates how one thing, even seemingly small, can influence many others in a far-reaching and often unpredictable way.
His vision for Mars, while still far off and perhaps still seeming like science fiction to some, has also inspired a whole new generation of engineers and scientists to pursue careers in space exploration. That's an intangible but powerful ripple effect, sparking imagination and ambition in young people around the world, turning dreams into potential careers.
It truly is. He's certainly raised the bar for what people expect from innovation and entrepreneurship. Not just in technology, but in every field. He hasn't just joined the race, he set a new pace entirely, a new standard for ambition and execution.
Raise the bar, another great idiom. To raise the bar means to set a higher standard or level of expectation, making something more difficult or challenging to achieve. It's about elevating the level of quality or performance required, pushing everyone to aspire to greater things.
So, if a company creates a product that is far better, more efficient, and more user-friendly than anything else on the market, they have raised the bar for their competitors, who now have to work much harder and innovate more to keep up.
Exactly. Or if a student gives an incredible, insightful, and well-researched presentation, they might have raised the bar for future presentations in that class, inspiring their classmates to strive for similar excellence and putting pressure on them to perform better. Raised the bar.
Synonyms include set a higher standard, improve expectations, or elevate standards, each emphasizing an upward shifting quality. The opposite would be to lower the bar or decrease expectations, making things easier or accepting lower quality. It's about pushing for excellence and demanding more from oneself and others, fostering a culture of continuous improvement.
And he doesn't just raise the bar, he continuously challenges the status quo, often through sheer audacity and almost unbelievable willingness to attempt the seemingly impossible and defy conventional wisdom. He takes on challenges that others wouldn't even dare to consider.
Audacity, that's a strong noun. Audacity means the willingness to take bold risks, often displaying a lack of respect for established rules or norms. It implies a certain fearlessness, sometimes bordering on recklessness or impudence, a willingness to be provocative and defy expectations, even if it means facing criticism.
Like someone who dares to challenge a powerful authority, perhaps a corrupt government or deeply entrenched institution, even when it seems intimidating and dangerous, is showing audacity.
Or proposing a completely outlandish idea in a serious business meeting, something that goes against all conventional thinking and might even be met with laughter. That takes audacity.
Yes, audacity. Stress on the second syllable. This noun captures the essence of bold, sometimes impudent courage and daring. Synonyms include boldness, daring, or nerve, each conveying a sense of fearless action. The opposite would be timidity or caution, a reluctance to take risks or to challenge the status quo. It perfectly captures his willingness to defy convention, to think bigger and act more boldly than almost anyone else, pushing the boundaries of what is considered acceptable or achievable.
So, his legacy, despite the controversies, the failures, and the often abrasive public persona, will likely be one of a relentless innovator who wasn't afraid to challenge giants and make incredibly audacious bets on the future of humanity. He's someone who dared to dream big and then relentlessly pursued those dreams, often achieving what others deemed impossible.
He really has an indelible mark on the 21st century. His impact is woven into the very fabric of modern technology, space exploration, and sustainable energy aspiration, shaping the trajectory of human progress. Indelible mark is a wonderful way to conclude. An indelible mark, means a lasting impression that cannot be removed or forgotten. It's something that leaves a permanent impact, a change that remains long after the initial event, influencing future generations.
Like a significant historical event, such as a revolution or a major scientific discovery, leaves an indelible mark on a nation's memory, shaping its identity and understanding of itself for generations.
Exactly. Or a truly inspiring teacher can leave an indelible mark on their students' lives, influencing their paths, their choices, and their perspectives long after they leave the classroom. Indelible mark. Stress on the second syllable of indelible. This phrase vividly conveys permanence and significance, something that cannot be erased. Synonyms include lasting impression, permanent impact, or unforgettable influence, each emphasizing a profound and enduring effect. The opposite would be fleeting effect or temporary impact, something that passes quickly and leaves no lasting trace. It illustrates how one thing, even seemingly small, can influence many others in a far-reaching and often unpredictable way.
His story is far from over, and the future will undoubtedly bring more twists and turns, more challenges and innovations, but it's clear he's already left an indelible mark on how we think about technology, space, and sustainable living. He's pushed conversations forward and inspired millions, regardless of how you feel about him personally. His influence is undeniable.
Absolutely. His legacy will undoubtedly be defined by his relentless drive to accelerate humanity's progress, creating a ripple effect across industries and beyond, raising the bar for innovation and entrepreneurial daring, and doing it all with an often astonishing audacity, ultimately leaving an indelible mark on our world. It's a complex, challenging, but ultimately transformative story. Do you agree that his impact outweighs his controversies? Or do you think the criticisms will ultimately define his legacy? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us today on English Made Easy. Keep listening to our podcast every day, keep practicing, keep challenging yourself, and you'll continue to improve your English faster than you think. See you next time.